Good day, dear friends. Welcome to another episode of the Culinary Masterclass supported by la Fondation pour la Formation Hôtelière. Today we will prepare a roasting sauce, or another name by which it is better known, Espanol sauce. So, today's topic is a sauce that is of high quality and very common in cooking and which is served with many meat dishes such as roasts, various types of steaks, beef, veal dishes and the like. In the previous video, where we prepared the rolled veal roast, you could see how we used the veal bones and the ends of the meat, put them on the bottom of the pan, added root vegetables and then the rolled veal. We roasted all that and then we scraped the juices from the roasting well from the bottom, transferred the bones and vegetables here to our pot, and now we will use it to prepare the sauce. We will cook this for a long time and make one great sauce, that is Espanol sauce. Here we have a lot of vegetables, all those bits that we found in the fridge: carrots, celery, garlic, red onions, peppers, tomatoes, zucchini, sprigs of herbs, leeks. You can basically use almost all the vegetables you have in the fridge. Then we have the bones, the ends of the meat, and again to repeat all this we roasted with a large piece of meat. And here now is the pure essence of all the juices that leaked from the meat and vegetables while roasting. I want to emphasize right away that you can only roast bones and root vegetables, of course much shorter, about 45 minutes. You only roast the bones if you don't plan to roast a smaller or larger piece of meat, and then you can prepare this sauce from those bones and vegetables in the same way. In that case, I would recommend that you cut the bones into slightly smaller pieces so that they are better cooked on all sides. We will now add tomato puree, 2 to 3 spoons and 1 spoon of mustard to these bones. Mix everything well so that it is slightly fried. You see all these bones and vegetables, the color is just as it should be, and that will be the color of the sauce. We will pour all this with hot water. Feel free to put 4 to 5 liters of hot water because this will take a long time to cook, 3 or even 4 hours. Yes, it takes a little longer to prepare this sauce, but let me say right away that it is not very demanding to prepare. You don't need to go around often and do a lot of work while preparing this sauce. And in the end, it will really pay off, because this is truly a superb sauce that has a very wide application in the kitchen and will enrich every dish with which it is served. We added hot water, mixed everything well. Now we will add salt. As I said, this takes a very long time to cook now, about 3 to 4 hours, but I want to emphasize that when you decide to prepare this sauce, then prepare a larger quantity, because you can keep the sauce in suitable containers with a lid in the refrigerator for up to 7 days, and in containers in the freezer for up to 3 months. You then take it in the amount you need, reheat it with the addition of a little stock, and that way you always have the sauce and use it when you need it. So even though the preparation process is really long, it is worth taking your time and making this excellent sauce because it really enriches and refines every dish with which it is served, and you can prepare it in larger quantities and use it for a really long time, so it is worth making an effort to prepare this sauce. Now we will let it cook slowly for 3 hours. We will only look occasionally and add half a liter or a liter of hot water. Here, after an hour, I want to show you how the sauce is cooked. You can see how it has a nice color. Later we will puree it all, but we will leave it for another 2 to 3 hours to cook, and the flavors will be even more concentrated and united. Dear friends, after 3 hours of cooking, it's time to thicken the sauce a little. Now the meat and vegetables have been cooked enough, the flavors are combined, and we will thicken the sauce by adding a mixture of flour and water. We mix a little flour and water in a bowl, and pour it into our boiling sauce. We don't need to worry now if lumps will remain because we will strain and pass all this well. While adding the flour and water, mix well to distribute the flour in the sauce. After adding the flour, we should stir the sauce every few minutes because now there is a high probability that the sauce will burn due to the starch from the flour. After adding the flour, the sauce should cook for about 20 minutes to combine the flavors and obtain the appropriate thickness. After about 20 minutes of cooking, we will pass the sauce. Let me emphasize, you don't need to worry about whether you'll add 2 or 3 or more tablespoons of flour to the sauce. It all depends on the amount of sauce you're making, and if it's a little too thick, you can add a little hot water or stock and thin the sauce, and if the sauce is thin, you can add a little more flour and cook for an additional 20 to 30 minutes. What does it mean to puree? It means that we will put both the sauce and the vegetables from the sauce in a sturdy metal strainer and press well with a wooden spoon because we want to mash the vegetables, squeeze them through the strainer into our sauce. This will give the sauce additional flavor and thickness. Pour all the vegetables and sauce from the pot into the strainer and squeeze well. If the sauce is not the right thickness after pureeing, then we can leave the sauce to cook a little longer until it thickens and becomes thicker. After pureeing the sauce, we should taste it and season it if necessary. You can also add a little marmalade or dark chocolate to the sauce, a little red wine, depending on the dish you will serve it with. Now we are going to taste the taste of our sauce. It needs a little more spices to adjust its taste. We will add a little salt. A little pepper. And a little garlic powder. Now it needs to be cooked for a few more minutes. How will you know what the ideal thickness of the sauce is? When you take the sauce with a spoon and start pouring it, it should remain on the spoon in a thin layer of 2 mm, meaning that it should be slightly liquid so that it remains on the food in a small and thin layer. The thickness of our sauce is almost ideal. It will only take another 5 minutes of cooking to reduce a bit. When the sauce is cooled, we will put it in the refrigerator for a few hours and then fat will appear on the surface of the sauce, a thin layer of fat. Be sure to remove that fat and throw it away because the sauce must not be greasy and traces of fat stain should be visible on the surface of the sauce. Then we pack the sauce in appropriate containers and leave it in the refrigerator or freezer. You have the option of pouring the sauce into the plastic for ice cubes, then freezing the sauce and then taking out those sauce cubes and adding them when you are preparing a dish to enrich its flavor or have a sauce to serve with the dish. To repeat, the sauce can last in the refrigerator for 5 to 7 days if it is well covered and if we take out the sauce each time with a clean spoon. That would be it. This is one of the basic sauces of French cuisine, a dark hot sauce. It has a wide range of uses with many meat dishes. With the addition of some ingredients, we get expanded sauces and use them for dishes that we have planned to prepare. Thank you for your attention. Until the next video and next cooking, enjoy creating your recipes. Bye.